Whose flow is better, Yeet or Cardi? I'm gonna have to say I still fuck with my man Cardi better than anybody else. Okay, nobody can fuck with him, but Uzi is coming back. Like that what's it called, countdown song that he previewed yesterday, or that his videographer previewed or posted the vlog footage of, and it had the switched up beat. Yes, I know it was an old song, but yo, that shit was heat. That shit was heat. I'm ready for a pink tape. I'm getting back on the bandwagon of Uzi. You know, Uzi love. I know I've been hating for a little bit, but I think he's getting there, y'all. Is Juice WRLD's Can dropping another album? Yes, they're dropping The Party Never Ends, finally. Except it's gonna be different than what it was supposed to be originally. Tripp is probably he's dropping a Love Letter to You 5. I think he said soon, but unfortunately, I don't think a Love Letter to You 5 has very much hype. Maybe it's because he's already played out. Okay, this is what a Love Letter to You 5 sound reminds me of, and this is no hate. Y'all know that Trippie's like one of my favorite artists. Y'all know the Fast and Furious series, where they're on like FNF 26? That's how I feel about Trippie's A Love Letter to You series. There's like so many fucking, like, we're on 5 now. Is this the final one? I'm sorry, but I'm just not at the point in my life where I need another one anymore. I haven't even watched Fast and Furious 2. Not every album needs to have a sequel. I think the reason that Trip at Night was so popping was because it was such a new sound for Trippie. I think the reason there's so much hype for an Uzi album or for a Playboi Carti album is because they have, you know, different sounds, evolution of their music. It's gonna be something totally different that like revolutionizes everybody who's influenced by them. So I think going back to love music and like the guitars and whatever, like, yeah, it'll be cool. Maybe he goes back to classic Trippie, so maybe I'm just being a hater. But I think the reason Trip at Night had so much hype from his fan base, as opposed to say Pegasus, which kind of had like a Love Letter to You vibes, but just like a different name to it, and I guess somewhat of a different concept. I just feel like sound-wise, sonically, it was very similar. Neon Shark was cool too, but that was totally different. Like, but maybe he's going back in general just because, you know, Pegasus sold what, like 65K? I believe Trip at Night also sold 65K, so that just goes to show you that all of the hype that Trip at Night had, at least for like this niche, didn't really translate into album sales. Probably because it's like a super niche, like Rage. It was Rage, and not everybody fucks with Rage like that. It's like the mainstream. But a Love Letter to You series, I believe a Love Letter to You 4 sold like what, between 75 and 105K. So it's obviously his most popular thing. But just to me, maybe it sounds like some low-hanging fruit. He owed his label 10 albums, so he's dropping. I thought that he only had like one more album, or like he's on his own. He's on his own label at this point. Like, let me check this shit. So Trippie Redd, if we go to Trip at Night, we gotta see what it's distributed by. So it's 1400 Entertainment and what's it called, 10K Projects. So it's 1400 Entertainment imprint, but still distributed and backed by 10K Projects. I believe this, or A Love Letter to You 5, is the last on this label, because how many projects did he drop with them? We got Trip at Night, we got Pegasus, Neon Shark, I mean Pegasus, but technically Pegasus, Neon, that might have been the deluxe, so that might count as one Pegasus album, because that's how it like is marketed. So maybe like 2 or 3. We got 4, 5, Life's a Trip is 6, exclamation mark 7, 8, 9. I don't know. Bro has dropped so much, but we don't know which one is technically considered a mixtape. Bro owes his label 10 albums. Bro is a slave. Y'all were right. 10 albums. That's how much he's actually dropped. Trippie is actually goated for that. Like, he actually supplies his fans with music and features. And he's like super versatile with all the genres, which not a lot of rappers you can say that. Like, for example, Cardi. Like, bro never gives people shit. But like, what, technically speaking, I believe Trippie Redd has made more money via streams, at least revenue wise, because he has so much content out there. Whereas Cardi, he may have a higher average streams per song or video, but there just aren't as many songs. You get what I'm saying? It's almost like a YouTuber who only dropped, like Mr. Beast drops like what, a video every month, but like they hit like 100 mil or some shit. But PewDiePie drops a video every day, and so he might still have more views than Mr. Beast just because he puts out, he has such a deep catalog. Do I think Homicide Gang is coming up? Bruh, I haven't gotten into them yet. I'm not saying they're bad. I just haven't gotten into it. We'll see what happens with them, but like, I think a problem with Homicide Gang is that it's so predicated currently on Cardi. Like people just know that that's Cardi's camp, and that's the only reason that people listen to them. Like, the only people listening to Homicide Gang are Cardi fans. Whereas I feel like there are people who actually fuck with Lonely or Ken Carson, even if they don't really like Cardi's new music because it is so different. Although most of them are still probably Cardi fans. But I feel like Ken and Lonely still have their own independent brands outside of just being like an Opiate member, you know? Like, there was still speculation back in the day where like people didn't actually know if they were signed or not. And then they were public about it in the last year. Would they be as poppin' if they weren't affiliated with Cardi? That's the real question. I don't think that they would. I think they got like a little bit of a head start. I'm not saying they wouldn't have become successful eventually, but you know, the process got expedited a bit. You know what I mean? Trippie can drop as much music as he wants. That doesn't mean he's gaining any of that streaming money, bro. His label is. Do you know how the music business works? The label has a percentage in the music after you recoup. It's not like the label just gets to fiend all the money. Like, you're in a joint venture with an artist. The artist creates the music, you recoup all of the expenses that they use to create the music and then promote it, and then you split it. You split the money. The label can't just take all of the money. And I'm sure like Trippie is a successful artist, so that don't make sense. Do you think that you need a label to go big in the music industry? Nah. Look at XXXTENTACION. He was basically like independent. He only really had Empire later on in his career, and he was killing shit. And it's not like he did a whole bunch of playlist marketing and all that shit. He was just such a strong brand by himself that he literally was killing it. And another thing why it's so good to have someone like X or somebody who doesn't need a lot of label push or marketing is that you don't have a lot of expenses other than just creating the music. But a lot of them just make music at their crib now, so there really isn't that much money to spend. So all the money that you earn through the label and streaming, like, it doesn't even have to be recouped.